What's going on, everyone? This is Miami the Great. I'm here on Talk It Up. Glad you guys have been here with me to share the stage. I'm getting set up. We're getting everything set up. Welcome to the live show. We're here today. I will be having Final Boss coming here a little bit later, about 30 minutes. We'll be going over the SmackDown review. I'm glad you guys have came with us and joined with us today on this beautiful day here. It's just, we're going to get into a lot of the, stuff of what's going on today and all that. So can't wait to get you guys to see what we got going on today. I'm here. I'm finally live. I figured it out. Um, yeah, we're going to get into a lot of things right now. Um, we just we just gotta see what's going on with the WWE right now. Welcome everyone down in the comments. Hello to everyone. If you want to like and subscribe to our channel, we're on Talk It Up. We're here first. Finally, shouts out to you, Stampede. Shouts out to everyone who's coming. Cal the Man Anthony, how everyone's doing. Beautiful Saturday. Thank you guys for coming. Thanks for you guys liking and subscribing. If you are live on YouTube, y'all already know our YouTube. Talk It Up. And also the people from X. How is everyone doing? Y'all already know my X, Miami the Great 6545. Y'all already know where to reach me at. Or you can catch me live on Instagram Live. We're going to just run down a couple of things today about SmackDown, Raw, how things was for y'all, the outcome of what happened after WrestleMania. I feel like WrestleMania was maybe one of the most weirdest WrestleManias ever. Will we ever see that again? I don't think so. I don't think we'll ever see a WrestleMania quite like that. But we had a great Raw and a great SmackDown um, from this past Monday and Friday. I think one of the main things I'm going to go ahead and go over Raw because me and Final Boss will go over SmackDown is I feel like Raw overall from a projected was maybe one of the best Raws we had in a quite long time, which tells us that we here all feel like, you know, we should, think about that. Because if this was the best Raw we've had in quite some time, it makes you say, wow, it's crazy. Shouts out to you, Lena, and everyone down below. Stampede. Yeah, we're live. But it was quite crazy that we got a good Raw right after everything that had happened, the lead up to WrestleMania, the things that had happened at WrestleMania. It was quite crazy of what we had got and how we got there. We're gonna go. I'm gonna go over a couple matches here. What happened on Raw. I feel like, and I'm gonna go over a couple highlights too of what happened on Raw too. I feel like Raw, when you think about what all happened with everything that had happened, I feel like Raw this week was the best Raw for me because of the ending. The ending for me was quite shocking. I did not see Braun Breaker joining Seth Rollins at all. I didn't see that coming from a long shot. I didn't think that we were going to see that from quite some time, and I was just really amazed about Braun's Breaker whole thing with what we got. Seth Rollins and shouts out to you, Greg. Seth Rollins teaming up with Paul Heyman was already a shock. I maybe the first person to say that he was going to join Seth Rollins. And I was shocked when we seen that. It was quite interesting to see Paul Heyman and Seth Rollins joining each other. and just at the end what we had got from the end. But I feel like these two things. Shouts out to John. Shout, we here, we live. But I feel like what we had finally had got, how we got here, will be an amazing journey for me. I feel like the journey that we're here, that we're going to go, is going to be quite amazing, quite entertaining, and quite some time to get there. Um, Seth Rollins and Braun Breaker are going to do quite some things when you get to the whole art of this story. I feel like the ending of Raw, that's how you end it. Um, we have had a lot of Raws after Mania that has been like this. If you go back and look at John Cena and the Brock Lesnar angle, that was one night when they got into the whole brawl. That was so amazing with the whole thing. I feel like when we had got that, it was so amazing with the whole thing of what we had got with the way we got there. I feel like Braun Breaker, yeah, exactly. Stamp. He said it when Braun Breaker got with him, and they just got into the whole thing with the back in NXT. I feel like those two, they already they had set up the tease there. That's where you got your tease. That's where you got your whole um Paul and Braun Breaker first joining up with each other. I feel like that was maybe quite some good things coming. We have Final Boss Baby. She's in the studio. See you in the back. Shouts out to you. We're gonna bring her up here. I know she didn't talk about she didn't see Raw, but we will get to Raw. We're gonna get her up here real quick. Hold on. There we go. Shouts out to you, Final Boss Lady. Are you there? Your mic is muted.
I am here.
Okay, thanks for being here. I know you're not feeling so well, but thanks for gracing us. I was just touching over a little bit of what my thoughts about Raw. Since you're here, and I know you're not going to stay long, I'm going to get back to Raw a little bit later. Let's talk it up about a little about a SmackDown. Your overall thoughts about SmackDown. I know you say you caught SmackDown, and like I said, I will get back to Raw a little bit later with everyone. Everyone's here: Lena, Greg, John, Stampede, Kyle, everyone's here to join us down in the comments. Shouts out to everyone there. But what was your overall thoughts with the whole um, Braun Breaker? I mean, not Braun Breaker, but SmackDown. Um, how did you feel about SmackDown this week? Was it one of the best SmackDowns for you? Because Raw was perfect for me. SmackDown, it was okay, but it wasn't there. How about what's your thoughts?
I thought it was good for what it was. We got what we wanted. Selena Vega is now your new United States champion. We got the return of Aleister Black. The Street Profits are our new tag team champions. We got an update from Bianca. We heard about an injury during WrestleMania. It's true. Her fingers are broken. So we technically got a lot of what we wanted with the title changes. Um, we also got to see Jacob in action as well. And of course, we got John Cena and Randy promo. So I think they did a good job of giving us at least the stars that we wanted to see. Title changes that we've been asking for a while as well, which again was Zelina Vega finally getting that push. Same thing with the Street Profits since they went heel.
Yeah, I feel like Zelina finally got her win. What was your thoughts about um Aleister Black finally showing up for SmackDown? Did you like that premiere of when he arrived for SmackDown?
I did. It was same entrance, same music. So I was happy to see that. Um, so he is a reflection of what he was back then, which is good. A lot of people liked his old character from NXT. It was a reminder of who he was. those who loved him back then. So I like that they kept everything. The only thing I did not like is where they're putting him into. This is a guy who was returning back. There was a lot of hype around him resigning again. His wife Selena won the championship, and now they're putting him into a feud with the Miz. Not like Miz from like 15 years ago, who was, champion. And granted, he is a Grand Slam champion, but the Miz of 2025.
Yeah,
So
that's
I
true.
have a lot of concerns about that. Um, if that's where they're putting him right out the gate.
Yeah, if we want to like fantasy book this real quick, which I kind of like doing. I feel like maybe this will be a way where we will get to um also not just Miz. Maybe you will get him and Carmelo Hayes. It seems like they're pushing Carmelo Hayes to the moon. Now I don't know if you had know this final boss lady, but this it's been a year since Carmelo Hayes was drafted at number one for SmackDown, and now we have hit another year where he's ruined the Andre the Giant. And this was one person that we were saying, man, we thought they dropped the ball on him. Do you feel like this is a slow cook like type of bill with him? Maybe we just didn't wait, and then now we're getting this slow bill where he's going to potentially be the star that we think he is. What's your thoughts on that?
I need to blow my nose. But
You
as
good?
far as that, no, I did not know it's been a year already. I thought only been a few
Yes.
months. So,
Yeah.
wow. Here's the thing: is that when Hayes came over, he had a lot of promise, a lot of bill behind him. They put him with the Miz, and then he kind of became very, very mid card. He started
Hmm.
losing a lot of matches as well. He was known for the guy who didn't miss, and now he's missing everything. Um, so as far as a slow build, how how can you rebuild that on someone who's been around really in the lower mid card for a number of months now? You're bringing Aleister Black, who was very, very great at NXT. That's why we loved him. I remember when he came over to the main roster, they didn't really do a lot of good things with Aleister Black. Ultimately, that's why he ultimately left. So to put a guy who was returning, who you didn't really treat that well on the main roster, NXT, different story. Main roster, way different. So you're putting him back with a recently re-signed Black, who again on the main roster wasn't used properly, with Carmelo Hayes, who has now been put into a lower mid card. There's no way you can go up from that. You would have to put Carmelo Hayes either one with a bigger star, have him build himself up again, or just leave him away from the Miz, have him just be solo and do his own thing, build himself back up. Same thing with Aleister Black. You can't put two guys who are on the mid card and expect them to be, co main event stars. That's not how that works. And I
Hmm.
think that you are aware of that video about how Paul Heyman does booking. You have your main stars and your co-main stars, things like that. You can't take two people at the same level and make them both stars at the same time. That's not how typically how booking would work.
Well, well, that was a name because you got Miz with Carmelo Hayes, or this could be a way where we can get Carmelo Hayes away from the Miz. I feel like this whole thing with Aleister Black, right after Zelina Vega won the title, he appeared. A lot of people I've seen the posters where they showed where when he debuted at AEW. Um, Cody was wearing the white suit, so was the Miz. They was doing the comparison. I feel like in AEW he had a good, decent run. I did like the House of Black. I loved the day music. I love Julia Hart. She was one of my favorite people that was in the group. Still is. I wish they would go back to her own music, but that's a story for another day. But I feel like with this whole projection that we're getting with Carmella Hayes, it made me sit back and say, maybe because especially when I seen the news when it came up on my timeline that it's been a year, and I said, that's kind of intriguing because most people they let now um do the Andre Giant Memorial. It's not how it used to be Final Balls. Back in the day, it used to be where it didn't matter who won. You won, it was like, oh, okay, it was an afterthought. Braun Breaker, I mean not Braun Breaker, Jay Uso won the Memorial, and look at him now. He's a world champion. You have Bronson Reed. He was pushed, but he got injured. I'm pretty sure when he comes back, they're going to put him back into a good, decent run. Now we got Carmelo Hayes. So that's like maybe what, three guys. The only person who ever never won it yet was Jacob Fatu because they already was going to push him to the moon, which we'll get to that a little bit later. But I feel like we can get. I feel like this is a slow cook bill. We can do for a minute where we can first get it. I understand what you're saying. I do feel like we can get there, but I mean, who can we put Carmelo Hayes against? I did notice. I don't. I know you don't watch NST. They announced it Battleground, and Trick Williams was not on the poster. Do we see Trick Williams debut? Because after WrestleMania, we get a lot of call ups. We got one this Friday was Fractions was the NST champions who carried the NST division all the way up to the top. Do we feel like we're going to see a Trick Williams real soon because he didn't win the title yet? Do we see Trick coming and maybe they team back up him and Trick?
I mean, maybe. I mean, maybe they'll do that when they do the draft. But Trick again had a lot of build behind him, and they kind of slowed down his push, especially after he lost. So I
Mhm.
mean, here's another bad example. Again of this now. Um, Maybe they could put him into a faction. Maybe I don't know. Maybe I mean, I can see them being a tag team again. Maybe they'll give them some new light because remember now the Street Profits are now champions now, so we
Mhm.
can do some stuff with that. But what do we do out of the black? I mean, we were not gonna put him with the Y6. I hope not. Um, I mean, so where does he go from here? I mean, can they put him with Damian Priest because now that he's away doing his own thing? I mean, I don't know. Maybe because they have similar kind of like edgier gimmicks. I don't know. But again, Damian Priest, even though he's still getting some good matches, he's facing people like Drew, but he's not what he was. He's not you know that big guy anymore. He's not the guy who won at WrestleMania 40. I had a lot of of hope from him when he won the championship, and his championship run it wasn't what we expected. So here we go once again.
I think and before we get to our next card, the stuff on the card, because I want to pull it up here because I'm trying to remember it off the back. But I think my whole thing when we go to Carmelo Hayes, because Miz did give him like a chain that was an Andre the Giant type of chain. I did like that. It added to his swagger. I feel like with this, and like I say, with the information I received, I feel like with this, they're just doing a slow build. Now, will Trick come? Maybe, but I don't want him and Trick because they're seeing like what people was saying with Trick, where he had a tip on his shoulder and Trick Williams was nothing but his lackey. I don't think Trick needs to be there. Maybe you want to revisit that feud. Maybe if you want to go down the road where these two have a decent match, you have the United States title there. I feel like Jacob can have so many potential of superstars that he can go against. Trick Williams and Jacob Fatu. Oh my God, sign me up. Even him and Carmelo Hayes, sign me up. I feel like too when we get to the United States championship match. Well, we're going to get into in a few minutes because I do want to cover that before you get ready to go. Because, like I said, I want to go over Raw and then we're going to get out of here. But I feel like where you have so many people that you can set up for the United States title, do you feel like this was the right move for LA Knight to drop the title because he did do a promo, and we had got a match yesterday where it was LA Knight and Drew McIntyre where they supposed to have this real call beef, but we don't know. We don't know if it's kayfabe or work. The Rock taught us that, so hey, we don't know what is what no more. But it's where I feel like, are we going to get maybe a fatal four way because Priest did come out and choke slam Drew, and LA Knight jumped into Priest's face, and Jacob came out of nowhere and jumped on both of them. Are we going to get a fatal four way between both of these guys? Because next week is Backlash. What are we doing? We have only one match that we announced. Are we taking too long with announcing these matches too?
I mean,
Let's see.
possibly. I mean, really, at this point, it's gonna be either a fatal four way or you'll have a Jacob Fatu and LA Knight rematch again. Um, I think the biggest story will just be the four way, because you don't want to have a card where you're just having everyone getting a rematch. Think about it. You're already gonna have Cena, um, doing something with Randy, so they're showing that they're moving on with these challengers. Remember, they took away those automatic rematch clauses like years ago, right? Remember, we used to have those every time someone lost a championship. So I think a fatal four way would be best for them. As far as who comes out victorious, I hope that Jacob does. I think he needs a pretty decent run with this championship. As you saw, there's a lot of tension with him and Solo still. So I'm gonna see him move away from Solo, because the whole story now is that Solo built him, and Jacob saying, "No, you didn't. I'm my own guy. I did it on my own. This is me." So, I want to see where that story goes. It was likely it's gonna be Jacob just beating down Solo and then write him off, and then who knows. But yeah, the Fatal Four Way, I definitely is gonna be the direction that they're going for Backlash.
I'm not gonna lie to you, Final Boss. I finally want to see now. I want to see Jacob versus Solo because one is for the United States title. Two, and I'm going to touch on the promo since we're talking about Jacob and the whole match where how we got to LA Knight and Drew McIntyre. Is I feel like Jacob already is like, hey, I'm Solo. He kind of was right. He did say no one wanted Jacob, which is true because if you go back, you listen to what Jimmy said, and also a couple of people that said that um not even not Jay, Jimmy, Roman. A lot of them have said the same thing that Solo was saying. No one did want to touch Jacob because they was the outcast, even Tonga Law and Tonga Tonga. And I hope they have a speedy recovery because they will hopefully they'll be back real soon. But I feel like when he snatched that mic and Solo gave him that look, and I know a lot of people are going to say, well, Solo feels like the second person. At this moment for me, Final Boss, I was like, oh no, this is what I want because now this puts a tip on Solo's shoulder because Solo was supposed to be the guy anyway. Solo was the one carrying the story, was making the story be how it was when it's supposed to be like this. And I feel like Solo's supposed to be in this spot. And maybe that will encourage Solo to start stepping up his game. Now I want Jacob versus Solo. Just off of that promo. It was just one promo and one thing. Now, when we got to the match, I didn't like the ending. With me, Final Boss, I wish they would have had it what if we could have determined a winner because like I say with these cards I would like the matches to be announced because this is what we got into the ticket sale things even though Backlash is not one of those big stragglers pay-per-views, one of the big boys, one of the ones that we feel like we want to watch, we gotta watch. um I feel like that we got to get to announcing some of these matches. So this week, Monday and Friday, they're going to start announcing matches. Now, usually Backlash has maybe 5 matches. Normally, Triple H does 5, maybe 6. He doesn't do no more than that. John said, we only are 6 days removed from WrestleMania with four shows before Backlash. So they have a set the card soon as Backlash in 2 weeks away. So yeah, I mean, you're right, Joe. We gotta get this. It's May. I think it's May the 10th, if I'm not mistaken. If someone drops it in the chat, I might have said it wrong, but I'm pretty sure it's May the 10th. So we got to start getting these matches announced quick. I feel like next week has to be the night where we start announcing this match. Starting Monday, Friday, then the next week of that. Like I say, normally they do 5 or 6 matches, but what's your thoughts on that?
I mean, how fast do you want them to build that? Remember, Backlash is always after Mania, which is this past week. So you really only have like a month to build those matches. And all Backlash really is a build off from Mania. That's what it is. Um, I don't even think we even do this pay per view anymore, but it's Retribution. So
Hmm.
that's and they used to paper I mean a PLE, but now they don't do it anymore. But that's literally what Backlash is. So a lot of those matches are going to come pretty quickly and also pretty late because again, it's only a month to build them up. So it's not more so about building really new feuds like that. You're not going to have the long drawn out new feuds because you just don't have the time. You only have a month to do so. So for that, give them a lot of leeway just because of the short time frame.
Yeah, yeah, and I feel like we'll have to see. I would like to see a fatal 4 way. This is a way, even if you throw Solo in there, you can make other people take a pin. You don't have to throw Solo in there to take a pin, and that means that Solo came a long way for me to say that. Finally, you don't get him to take a pin in a match. I feel like you could set up something where he maybe hits him and get close, and then that's maybe where you push him out the way, and then you get someone else to do the pin. We'll have to see. I know also. I don't know if you got the chance to see the Randy Orton and John Cena's promo, but let's talk it up. Did you like that? Did you understand where Randy Orton was telling John Cena he needs to have some kids? Was that a shot? Final boss at John Cena, um, telling him to have kids because we both know that he said he didn't want to have kids, but was that a work or was that a shoot or was that just something that you feel like they had discussed? What you feel about that line when he said it?
It was a okay promo. I don't think it was nothing that was mind blowing. It was just kind of funny and a little bit of ooh ah right in the moment. It's been widely openly known about John Cena doesn't want kids. I used to watch Total Divas. I doubt that you did, but I did. And one of the things that John Cena said in one of those episodes, it was Cena and Nikki Bella sitting down talking, and he told Nikki Bella that he didn't want kids because his family depends on him as the breadwinner, and that he couldn't do that, if he had kids.
Hmm.
So that was yep, and that was what he told her, um, in the series. So, um, and of course, it's openly known that Nikki Bella wanted to go ahead and have kids. That's why when she got married, she got you know, pregnant pretty quickly into that marriage. So I mean, like I said, it's not something that's a little known secret. He's been open about that, especially, of course, with Total Bellas, which is a WWE product. Sorry, Total Divas. So I mean, no. But I thought it was a nice touch. I thought it gave a nice bit of reality with kayfabe. I like John Cena doing the typical taunting the crowd, saying "Look at a 6-year-old," giving him the middle finger. And then his nice touch saying that he's been raising our kids for 25 years. Another known fact we all know is widely known that Cena has the most Make a Wish Foundation request in history, not just WWE, but in history, more requests than Disney World and anything else.
Hmm.
And we've known that for a long, long time. So them putting that out there and also technically building his legacy by mentioning that again is also a nice touch. Um, as well. And it makes me also think about, is Cena really going to retire as a heel, or is he going to do that face turn back like I thought he would? Because, what happens when he's done wrestling in December? Is he going to go back to doing all these foundations like Make a Wish again and leaving as a heel? Or is he just going to be done with that because he's departed from the company? So all these ideas kind of come to my head when they do that. But I thought it was a nice promo on both sides. I feel like this is tough. I feel like Cena's could have been a little bit better, but it was typical heel heat, so I did like that. The beatdown was very good. I love seeing Randy Orton in plain clothes, and him doing the signature, holding the title up to the crowd was also a real nice touch. It gives you that visual. Now Cena was laid out once again yesterday, so you know what that means. He's probably going to retain. But I'm interested to see this match. Well, that's how they book. Anytime someone gets laid out like that, they usually retain the title. That's just how they book them. That's why a lot of times when they had the whole build up with him and Cody, Cody was always standing tall. Same thing with Roman and Cody. There were a lot of times where Cody had laid out the bloodline. So I mean that's kind of like old school booking. But I'm excited to see that match. The promo was okay. I thought again it was a nice touch of reality meets kayfabe. Nothing too crazy. Nothing you got to go ahead and go on Google like Tiffany and Charlotte and try to figure out was it real or fake. So I thought they did a nice job of really blurring those lines, but not too much.
And I think it goes back to when you had spoke to me about when you get people to go over their promos. I think these two guys went over their promos before they went out there because they're vets. They're guys that have done this quite some time. He did touch on, and I don't know if you caught that. He said something about, do you got that Hollywood rock stuck in your head? And I was like, that's interesting that Randy touched on that. That was a clue. I don't know how many people in our chat or also on our X Live caught that line from there. But that was an intriguing line there. I did like the part where John Cena messed with the kid and also got the kid out there and just said, "Hey kid, don't bring a gun to a knife fight." That was a nice touch. Messing with the kid about his dad and stuff. I like this John Cena heel. I know a lot of people don't like this John where he comes at the crowd, but I like it because it makes me say, I never seen this John Cena before. We never got this before. I like it. It seems like he's having a little fun with it. And we finally get Randy versus John Cena, where John Cena is now the heel. I know right after this, I know you've seen it and I've seen you touch on it with someone on either our chat or I think it was on your timeline where it was a production truck where you had the Y6 and you had on, but I don't, everybody kept focusing on the Y6 Final Boss. But did you catch the other production truck where we had it was Triple H and I think it was Alicia Fox. Maybe it was someone else. I can't remember off the top of my head. But it was Triple H on the other side. That Y6 part didn't catch my eye. Maybe we'll get that match. But the Triple H part, especially what happened over this weekend, and I know they usually did stuff when it comes to these production trucks, and I don't know, are they still giving us a clue into the future about what's going to go on? But did you see that and did you catch that? And I'm going to get into my next question when you answer that.
No, I didn't catch that truck. I did see the Wyatt six truck. I did not see the Triple H truck. Now, if what you're saying is correct and it's Triple H and Alicia Fox on there, then that's not happening because Alicia Fox is not coming.
Well, well, we know that. I know it was some. I know, and then I might be getting it wrong. Somebody correct me, but I know Triple
Okay,
H
because
and it was
it's
someone else on the production truck.
okay.
It was a young lady. I'm just gonna say
Okay.
that, but I could be getting it wrong. It was maybe it was it looked like her. It didn't look like no one else but her. It looked like I
Mm-hmm.
say because usually on the production trucks they usually put the legends. They don't usually put the current superstars. So that's where I caught. That's the first thing I caught because Triple H passed that first, and the camera panned over to the Y6 production truck, and then you got um our truth that was saying that John Cena is his childhood hero. That's a real champion, and also our truth mistake John Cena for the world heavyweight champion when he's the undisputed champion. But our truth, man, I love him. We did get something from Jimmy. Do you think we're gonna get Jimmy and John Cena? Maybe.
I mean, maybe once he turns babyface, same thing with him and Truth. Once he turns babyface, now I can Jimmy possibly, um, our Truth more likely yes. I think they're gonna probably have a one-off match, tag team with him and our Truth because part of our Truth's gimmick for years has been this ongoing joke where that's a childhood hero. And, it was always been a running joke because as we know, our Truth is, pretty is older than John Cena. So I mean, he's been around since '96. And John Cena ain't been around since '96.
Well, well,
So
well, Jimmy did say you're older than him, so and for Jimmy to be because everyone knows Jimmy is the most funnest one, and for him to be serious like, hey, you're older than him, so what do we talk about? I did like that touch too, but yeah, I don't know, Final Boss. I mean, I want to see a heel Cena versus Jimmy for the title, even though if Jimmy doesn't win it, we finally get him to go for it. You might can tell the story where my brother did it. It's maybe time for me to do it. And also you can still
mm,
tie into the story where Jacob said that title needs to come back to the family. You could do it. I feel like because now Jacobs went for the war, the United States title. What's next for Jimmy? Because I thought Jimmy was gonna go for that title, but now we got that backstage premiere prison face of him, and he was saying something about John. I feel like there's something there. Maybe Final Balls. Maybe they will do something, even if he doesn't win. We might, because like I say, you can have a couple superstars to have him face against. Why you don't like the idea of the Y6 and John Cena? I know you was like
I
no,
mean,
keep Y6 away from him.
are you really gonna waste my final breaths me being sick asking this question
I see on your time. I was like, no, keep
because
them
that
away
is
from him.
not no, that is not a great thing. Now the only thing I can see them doing it is because remember John Cena did face the Fiend at WrestleMania.
Mm,
Remember that. Remember John
mm.
Cena did do that. There wasn't a lot of bill. He just kind of tipped his hat, and then he did have a match with him. So I can see them doing that because it's kind of an honor towards Bray to do it with Bo Dallas. But they cannot make it a long storyline. Like, I don't want to see, you know, John Cena comes out in the ring and then we have like spooky stuff going on in the ring. Like I just like if they're gonna do it, they can have him fight, Uncle Howdy, but have it be like a one off, and it's just he comes out one day, interrupts him, and then they just kind of have like a thing. And let that be the end of it. There was reports also that I've read, and I mentioned it in our chat. Is that the report says is that Bliss is gonna help lead the Y6 now. Um, and I've always known Bliss being very, very great at Money in the Bank. Remember, she did win the briefcase, and that was one of her best matches, one of her best runs. Twisted Bliss.
Best
Um,
catch in.
yep. And then that's in June, which is pretty soon. June is before SummerSlam.
Yes.
That's not until like late August. So we do have all that going on. So maybe, but again, man, I do not want to see a
Well,
long storyline with
well,
John
I
Cena and the
I
Y6.
don't see it because I right after backlash we got um Money in the Bank. I do not see them doing that match in Money in the Bank. I'm not gonna lie to you, Final Boss, and this is just me fantasy booking. I feel like we're gonna get some kind of way we'll get to CM Punk and John Cena. That will be a perfect story. The story is already written itself. It's right there itself. The only thing now is, um, if let's say if the Y6 thing was a thing, let's say that it kind of makes me say, huh? Well, when you go from CM Punk to the YS6, I don't like that. That's something I wouldn't do. That's something I just wouldn't do. Someone said, put um, put John Cena and Travis Scott versus R Truth and Lil Jimmy. Hey, what? That's crazy. Shouts out. Oh, yeah, down there. And Mike Marshall Mike said, "Let's go DWE. Yes, to go and THM and CCM. Man, I mean, you can you can have a little fun with this Cena and Truth." But Cena didn't say nothing mean to him. He just walked off with all truth, guys. I feel like um you don't gotta do a match with these two. Because I think Cena already said that he won't have no he hasn't had a like a singles match on TV. He's only been doing PLE. So I think he's only scheduled to do his PLE matches, which is fine with me. That's cool. No, at the backlash, we're going to get Money in the Bank, and Money in the Bank is one of the biggest matches, final bosses. Money in the Bank is maybe one of the matches that I feel like we can anticipate we're going to get some good matches. Give me John Cena versus CM Punk because of the promo that you pointed out to me, where John Cena said, and he's still saying it, he's going to leave with that championship. He even told Randy, your kids, your generation, you're going to start back at one. That was crazy to me for him to say that. And I was thinking in my mind, they never did that before because every time they made a new championship, they always carried the last legacy of that championship to the next championship. And John's saying no. When they make that next one, all you got to do is start from the beginning. What's your thoughts about that, Final Balls? Do you understood that reference when John Cena said that, or did you catch it?
So I did hear that, and it's just it's bullshit. That's not how it works. We know every time they make a new title, it's just carries on from the previous title. That's all it is.
Mm-hmm.
If they did that, John wouldn't be on like 17. He'll be on like 10 or something. So I mean, to be to be honest. So I mean, but I like the idea of it, kayfabe wise. The whole thing is that if they really are going to do this and he does retire with the belt and they really are going to go fully through with this whole new title, you're going to start all over again. I mean, does it make sense? Because I get the idea it leaves a legacy for Cena doing it, but if he's never going to come back, which he said he's, and like you said in the interview, they can't write a check big enough for him to come back, and he
Mm-hmm.
never comes back. What's the point? Because there's no follow up on that. So I don't think they're gonna do that. I think it's just a nice picture of what him being a heel is doing, but it doesn't make sense for him to actually do that if there's no follow up. But yeah, I definitely caught that. He said that him, Randy, and I guess now his son, they're gonna be just tinfoil champions now.
Yeah, yeah,
Um,
he did say that too.
which and you know you have to remember, I mean, this title is a little bit different because as we talked about, this is the undisputed title because they combined the titles. So you're telling me that everyone who, which really was Roman, so that means nobody else has held a title then because they because Roman
Hey,
combined the
I'm
title.
fine with it. Roman is in
So
that category. Go ahead.
I mean, so just one. So you only have one world champion, that's Roman Reigns, and I guess then after him was technically Cody. So you got
Yeah,
Cody and Roman, undisputed champions, and then that's it.
yeah.
So I mean,
It's
but I do like the idea of them saying that. I thought was a nice touch, and I think it was also put there because it's also bringing in Randy's son now, for wrestling, and it's also playing on the fact that, and like I said, in the chat, you're gonna have Randy's son be arrested, come out on the main roster eventually.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but Cena, once he's gone, which is gonna be in December, he doesn't have anyone to carry on that legacy anymore because he doesn't have any children. So we're not going to get those second generation, third generation stars with him. His legacy is literally his legacy, and
Mm-hmm.
if they want to go ahead and play it, they can put that into him being a heel and saying, my legacy once I'm gone is gone. I don't have people carry on my legacy. He's the last of the Cenas. He can
Mm-hmm.
use that too if he really wants to. So there's a lot of things they can really do. With this story, with these promos, and I really do like that idea.
Yeah, I know. And a lot of people asking us about the AA New Deal. I'm gonna get into that real quick. And I'm gonna answer Final Boss's question real quick. I feel like and Randy did hit on that. He did say that you know, your legacy. It's gonna continue. I got sons. One of my sons is already wrestling. The other two maybe become wrestlers. So my generation is gonna go on forever once I'm down in the ground, which is true. Um, and Randy did touch on that, so I did like that whole thing. Yeah, I the whole AA thing. We did get that news over the weekend with WWE. I know a lot of people didn't like the way um you had I still call him Chad Gable, the name of this character that he's dressing up as a mask character. I know a lot of people didn't like him winning at WrestleMania over Ray Phoenix, which was crazy. Ray Phoenix's first debut will always remember on WrestleMania, him losing, but there's been a lot of people that have lost at WrestleMania and still rebound. So Ray Phoenix will be fine. The whole AA thing, I'm pretty sure, if I'm not mistaken, they're doing a Worlds Collide and I think they're doing another pay per view too. I can't remember off the back. If I'm not mistaken, I think it's Money in the Bank. I think they're doing Money in the Bank and Worlds Collide, both at the same time, and it's crazy. And I think that's also a same day where there's no, Battleground. I'm thinking about Battleground. So okay, hold on. I don't want to get it mixed up. Battleground and AEW will go head to head when it comes to well, one will be a PLE, one will be a pay per view. But that's what I was getting mixed up. So I feel like the whole AA thing, it can be good for the Mexican people. It was, from what I'm hearing, it was one of the lowest companies that was out there. We will see who all they bring. From what I heard, I did see some um, stuff come out where they said most of their I will all their superstars will have to learn English, which is wow because I didn't know that. And maybe they're doing that because of the language barrier they have with their other superstars that can't carry over, and people have a hard time understanding them. Io Sky is a great contender in the ring, but when it comes to Mike, you seen on Monday where it just the promo didn't get you there. It was like, oh my god, and I feel like maybe some people. This is why we need managers. Is I noticed one thing, Final Boss, is that we don't have those slogans no more, and we don't have a lot of managers no more. We're also kind of going down on groups too. So I know we have that too. So that's just my thoughts on that, guys. When it comes to that, I'm gonna get on to this last match that we had on SmackDown Final Boss, which was the triple threat match. Was the tag team triple threat match? Was a label ladders, tables, and cheers match. And from what I'm understanding, I think it was like the 10th year anniversary. Um, these guys, Final Balls, for me, they knocked it out the park. Kudos to the Street Profits. And I was saying this last night when I was on the phone with Greg and Reggie when I talked to them, and they called me doing this match, and I was like, hey, Angelo Dawkins is the MVP of this of this match because he showed out. Now, don't get me wrong, Montez did great too. He got a fan's prosthetic leg and used it and throwed it back at the fan, which I know that fan will remember that forever. I seen the clip go around where people did like that, and it was so amazing. This might be one of the signs where that Angel Montez has done something like this, because one time he did the whole thing where he had the baby and was waving. It was also in the old Then and Now Forever clip where they was showing it. Um, it was something that I was like, wow, it was spot after spot after spot after spot. Um, I can't get used to Chamacho Champer's new look. I mean, my God, he's gonna have to grow that beard back quick or something. It's gonna probably take me quite some time. That look is not was it for him. I know over the weekend he had got a gash on his chin, and that's why he had to cut his beard. But it was. I mean, yeah, I do agree. Um, yeah, I agree. Kicking out. It was probably one of the instant classes of the night of SmackDown. Um, when they said that they was just trying to embrace the Hardys, the Dudleys, Edge and Christian match, tables, ladders, and chairs, and also the person that wrote this match, Final Boss, who was the producer, was Jimmy Noble. So Jimmy Noble, congratulations to Jimmy Noble. He was the one that
Jamie
wrote this
Noble.
match. Yeah, I mean Jamie Noble. My bad, Jamie Noble. He was one of the guys that produced this match, and this match was great. Did you get a chance to watch this match, and how do you like it? Did you like it?
I did. Remember it was the last hour they gave it, commercial free. So we knew it was gonna be a pretty long, decent match, and it was. They had a lot of brutal spots, a lot of brutal spots.
Hmm.
Um, there were moonsaults on there. I mean, it was exactly what you expected. We had double tables out there, so it was exactly what you expected. Now, as far as the spot where prosthetic leg from the fan was used, WWE, likes to plant fans in there, so I'm pretty sure that wasn't just a regular fan. So let's let's just get that out there. They're gonna work it as it was, but no. But I did like that touch. It gives you more of that Extreme Rules touch. I'm happy that Street Profits won. And here's a thing that not everyone will have caught, but right before the credits, after Profits had won and they were in the crowd, they were holding up the championships. And then you had Dawkins was just really like talking to the camera, like, yeah, we're the best tag team, we're this, we're that. And I just, I love that for him. It shows the more extreme side. And I just thought that was a really, really nice touch, that they showed them in the crowd and him yelling like that. I mean, even though something that was small, to me, it was so sentimental. Um, yeah, the match itself was great. A lot of people were saying that they wish this was on was on the WrestleMania card.
Hmm.
To have a match
Yes,
like this.
yes,
Um,
it's
but
good.
but when was the last time we had like a TLC match at like WrestleMania? So I mean,
Edge and Christian, maybe the Edge and Christian and the Dudleys, maybe. I think we have had ladder matches, but never a
the
tables
TLC match.
ladder.
Usually,
Yeah,
they
we never
usually
had that
they
in a while.
they save TLCs for TLC pay per view. So a lot of times, you may get a ladder match. Sometimes you get matches a lot here and there where they use tables, but to get an actual TLC match that's not on a TLC pay per view is very, very rare. Um, but I mean, hey, I think it was a way for us to give us something that we've been looking for, because as you saw, there was no Cody.
Yes, yes.
So
And somebody did
um
ask that in the chat
So
too.
here's the thing is that I feel like with this, because the last time we saw Cody, him and Brandy Rose, they walked away from the interviewer backstage at the post show for WrestleMania. Just walked off. They didn't even stop. So I assume they're gonna bring him back like how Roman came back, was gonna be during SummerSlam.
Oh,
So I don't know how they're going, because remember, same thing with Roman. And Roman lost the title. We didn't see him besides that one selfie
Him working
video of
out.
him,
Mhm.
yep, on the stair climber. But the next time we saw him was at SummerSlam, was when he returned. So I feel like they're doing that for Cody. Now the only question for that story is, does he come back, pissed off and attack whoever's champion, whether it be Cena, Randy, or whoever else might be between now and SummerSlam? Or is he just going to come out and be a good guy? I don't know, because the fact that he's off TV, they had him walk away with Brandy like that and not even stopping. He's supposed to be like this friendly guy, smiling all the time, loves the fans, goes to weddings, babyface guy, kissing babies, shaking hands. Um, I mean, I guess he's gonna maybe be more edgy and slowly start that turn when he returns. I know that, in the Rock's interview with Pat McAfee, he said that Cody's heel turn were not supposed to be about him losing the title or things like that, or about titles. But I think they're changing it now, because that's the story that they're going with as of right now. He's only mad because he lost the championship at Mania.
Mhm.
So I mean, think about that. But yeah, I don't think we're gonna see Cody until SummerSlam, because when have you seen Cody show up and it's not announced? Usually when Cody's gonna be there, they always announce it. So I feel like it's not gonna be until SummerSlam. Now, like,
Well,
it could put money in the bank, but I doubt they will. They'll probably get it to somebody else, but I'm going with SummerSlam for Cody.
this is my thoughts. Because someone did ask us on the YouTube in the chat, down in the comments, they asked us what we think was next for Cody, and you was the first person to peek out that to me when you said the whole interview was what we got the first, I guess, step of the way where we're going to finally maybe get him full tease. Is this a way where we can get Cody to come back and be black hair Cody? Maybe. I was quite surprised we got him off of TV because he was advertised to be on TV. But I know he was I think he's dealing with some stuff where he got to do some movies. I don't know how much time he will have to do that. I don't know how big that project is, or what's the lead up to the project. So we'll have to see. Shouts out to you, Nessa. How you doing? Yeah, we'll have to see what they're doing with Cody. I say go ahead and maybe start doing the heel turn now. I feel like final balls. We might get Cody to interfere in Randy's match, and he turns on Randy, and that's how Cena wins. Maybe that's what we
Mm.
go and get to. So it's gonna be real interesting now that he's off of TV. It wasn't. I wouldn't say it was as strange. I guess it was strange for me because he was advertised, but he was not on there. So I don't know what we get next for him when it comes to SmackDown. Like I say, it wasn't for me. If I wanted to do a grade for SmackDown, I'll give it a C because it was a 3 hour show. It wasn't bad. It wasn't too bad, but it was okay. And oh yeah, I forgot another match, but we'll get to that one too. But go ahead. What's your thoughts about Cody Rhodes?
So was he advertised, and then did they pull him off? Because I was just told he wasn't gonna be there, so I didn't see the advertisement with Cody on it. The only one I seen was the one with Cena on there. So how
From
long ago
from
was he
From
advertised?
from from what I understand, I seen a couple. Maybe it was before, but I seen a couple of posts where they had Cody saying that he was going to be on there, and then I think they pulled him this week. I think it was Monday. It was between the middle of the week. I think they maybe pulled him, or maybe they pulled him Thursday. And they were saying he wasn't going to be there because I guess he must have been in Orlando. He must have been with his family. He said they was at Disney World, but I'm pretty sure, from what I read, they said he was doing a movie too. Maybe he wasn't showing up. Maybe it was probably a grab person mistake. Maybe he wasn't planning on being there. We probably won't see that guy again if that's the case because it was advertised that he must have been there. But I don't know, final balls, what happened with that. But this could be a good thing that he wasn't on there because it now has us thinking what is next for Cody Rhodes. Maybe that's the first time we ever thought that for him. So we'll have to see where we go when it comes to that. When it comes to Cody Rhodes and how it gonna be with Cody. Um, someone said Alistair Bragg his return hell's freezed over. He said give 3 months. Cody, uh I yeah, I liked it. I loved Cody Rhodes New Japan's promos. Because that's what was he was teasing. I wouldn't even say tease. I say, and I know as much as Cody don't want to say it and maybe admit, he was a heel in New Japan when he was in the Bullet Club. He might don't want to admit that, but some of his promos was heel promo material. I feel like if you get back to that, you can get maybe a Cody Rhodes that some of us on the bigger platform have not seen yet, and we'll probably see some difference. Now, how do we get there? I don't know. I think some kind of way, because like I say, I say don't even have Cody come this week, because this week won't you still building up backlash. Then the next week you still don't have him come up. I say right at backlash you have him come out and you have him hit Randy, and maybe you have him and Randy do a couple feuds, keep him away from the title for some time, because we'll be like, now don't show that he's fully healed. Have us guessing, is he healed? Is he healed or not? That's the question we will ask on the IWC. For me, there was another match too, Final Boss Lady. Let's talk it up. One last match. I let you go. Now I'm gonna cover Raw real quick, unless you want to stay with Raw. But I know you didn't get to see it. But my thing was the Trish, the Tiffany and Jade match. And I know you was like the ending when Naomi, and a lot of people have gone around saying she was playing the imaginary drums. But we got Nia Jax on SmackDown, and I know you had discussed Bianca. I hope a speedy recovery for her too. Because she said she's injured, but she's back on SmackDown. So we got Nia and Jay. I mean, not Nia Jax and Bianca back on SmackDown, which is interesting to me because this tells me a couple things. Because Naomi in the back came up to, I mean, Nia just came up to back to Naomi and said, "Hey, I know you got this thing going on with Jade. Hey, I'm trying to go back for my title. Long as you stay out my way, we're okay." And then Naomi did her classic line: "Long as you proceed with caution, we're good." I thought for a minute, Final Boss. Oh my
Right, that
god.
was a terrible segment, by the way. Absolutely horrible, horrendous. That
Well, that was
backstage
well.
segment could have been so much, and all Nia Jax said was, "Well, that was rude."
Well.
Really?
See,
Is it?
I don't. Yeah, I do agree with you because it could. You, I didn't. I don't think they know what to do there, because this is another one of these things where I feel like we may be slow building to something. Because Nia said she wants to go for the title. Naomi's not. Now I thought they was going to do
Wait,
Jade.
I'm sorry. You said they did not know what to do there. They could have had Naomi. They could have had Nia Jax tell Naomi, you know, well, how about we proceed with caution, you know, together, or how about,
Mm,
or she could have said, how about we have everybody else proceed with caution? They could have had like a real, cool line like that. Or, they could have done it better on the tease. You just had Nia Jax be Nia freaking Jax and say that's rude. Like, this is why I'm not a Nia Jax fan, because they don't book her well. Yeah, she's better in the ring than what she used to be, but she ain't the best. I mean, I mean, there's nothing you can do with that girl to make me be a Nia Jax fan. I'm sorry.
well,
Um, with Naomi, uh, I like her new character. I do.
mhm.
But what she did with Jade when she came out, that was horrific. And it wasn't the first time that she did that, because she did it before on another SmackDown. She did the same moves and she's doing it again. and it's not funny. It is not, and it doesn't play into her more intense character. She's not even
Mm-hmm.
touching Jade. She's just waving her arms, and it's supposed to be a beat down. And then she's
Yeah,
like doing
it's
like, and then she's
weird.
doing like this weird like lay
Yeah,
forward thing.
yeah,
It's
it
supposed to
was
be kind of like
weird.
creepy, like when she leans forward, but it just doesn't look good. And I feel like the fact that it wasn't the first time she's done this, that they're telling her to do this. I feel like that's the case, and I feel like is that they're trying to like gimmick her, mock her, because like I said, she did on the last beat down with her and Jade.
Yeah, and I
So
was,
it's
I
strange,
was
and
saying that too.
Naomi's
I was
talented
like,
as
it's
hell.
weird.
Naomi is one of the best out there in the ring, and to have her do a weird, and that's a simple move. I mean, I've seen girls from the Divas era pull that off better like than that. So don't say it's hard to do. It's a beat down.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's odd to me. I feel like they're doing that on purpose. Um, but I mean, Nia Jax is back, so she's not
Yes.
injured. So that's so that's good. Maybe the fact that they even had interaction, her and Naomi, maybe they are building to something. But please, be better than what it was. They're just giving
Yes.
us hope.
Yes.
But
Yes. Which I like I say immediately once I seen not Nia Jax, I was like, oh my god, are we doing it? Because Nia Jax was a couple times throwing up the one, and I was like, where are we going with this? Jade never got back involved in the match because Nia squashed Tiffany, and Lena just said that yeah, Jade was the one to eliminate Nia Jax, so you do have that. I'm just hoping, guys, because like I said, I'm throwing a lot of matches out here, and I know we're going to have to lead to some matches. I feel like we're maybe going to probably get Jade, Nia Jax, Tiffany. That's what I would get. That's what I would do. I would not put Naomi in this because you don't want to kind of confuse the fans um when it comes to people of them maybe potentially um getting into the into a faction. The thing with Naomi, I thought they was going to do. I do like the tension, but when she comes out there, make her be. If you're going to do a beat down angle, WWE, do a beat down angle. Make her be. I know it's going to not make it look like we're like, oh my god. Um, they got to stop doing this. I'm hoping they're not comedian this gimmick because if they are, is what I'm thinking is not going to happen. They're not going to no way make this happen if they put her in this comedy gimmick where you have her doing beat down angles because that's still kind of comedy angle where she's doing a whole beat down, just hands, boom, boom, boom. It's weird. Like, what are we doing here? This is this is Naomi. She was in TNA. She was undefeated. It took Jordan Grace to beat her. When she came back at the Rumble, she got a big pop. She had nothing but losses. You should have built that. You should have built this character off of that. The reason why I turned heel, the reason why I turned because of all those losses I took. Just not because of I pushed Jay. Jay came on and y'all want to push her to the moon. Now she's a new shiny thing. You should have started doing that with her. And then when she comes in, if you're going to do a beatdown angle, do a beatdown angle. But we will have to see because I'm with you, Final Boss. Make this interaction with Nia Jax and Naomi be something. Now, this is the first time because a lot of times you don't get them two on the screen together, Final Boss. So with those two being on the screen together and having an interaction and kind of I say being in sort of a agreement, we could maybe get somewhere, but make Naomi be more serious if we're going to do this angle. Do you see them doing a triple threat match at Backlash with Tiffany?
I can see it. But honestly, I rather have um mm, I rather have Tiffany. Well, you mean Triple J match? You mean like with Tiffany, Jade, and Naomi, or
Well,
Tiffany, not
well, well, I
Nia
had
Jax?
I had it. Nia Jax, because she said she didn't want the championship, and Jade. Because like Lena just said, well, you had that you Jade was the one that eliminated Naomi, so you could continue, intertwining that feud when it was at the Rumble. I would keep Naomi out of it because I don't want her and Nia Jax to be interacting when it comes to fighting wise. I want them to kind of come to a understanding that, hey, we need to start a group and then build our way up to this. That's what I think we should go when it comes to those two. And I was just trying to see what was your thoughts about that.
Um, yeah, I can see them doing that. That triple threat. But again, are they really going to do that at Backlash? Do you think that's too soon?
Well, no, because I mean, it's someone new. Because we normally get the same match. And another thing I want to touch on before we get to something, because I noticed someone else wasn't there yesterday, so it just popped in my brain. But no, I feel like it's not too soon because I mean you got, like I say, Backlash is around the corner, and you don't got to change titles. It's not like, oh my God, we're gonna get a title match off the back of it, right off the back. I feel like that's not something we got to do right off the back. I feel like you can do something where you can do this, and it just something where it just be um it could be this. You can have those three go at each other. Like I say, Tiffany can win. I know a lot of people was like her misstep off the rope. It's a botch. I know a lot of us we kind of get on the wrestlers about that. But me and you have both said in X spaces that these ropes are very slippery. They're very tight, guys. They have to make sure those things are on there because you got to think about these things are supporting a lot of weight. I know most of the majority of the time when you go on a commercial, sometimes you got some guys that come back in there and tighten back up the ropes again because you want to make sure these wrestlers are safe. I'm not really tripping about the misstep of slipping off the ropes. I feel like that was okay with what happened. Lena just made a great point. She said, "Hey, let Naomi win the Money Bank briefcase, and maybe you do a cash in on I guess whoever will be the champion, and you could do Naomi versus Jade versus Bianca at SummerSlam. We'll see. Hopefully, we don't know how long Bianca's going to stay out. We'll have to see. It'll be a great thing to see those three. You could get that way with it, but because I know right after Backlash, you're gonna have Money in the Bank. If I had to pick a woman, for Money in the Bank winner, hmm. Well, see, we don't got Roxanne on the main roster yet, and if we just throw, it depends on how quick we get Roxanne on the main roster. I thinking at first, I was thinking, in which I think will happen when I get this Raw, and I'll probably intertwine it here was when Bianca I mean, Becky turned on Liv Valkyria, and by going for the IC title, which might be a match for Backlash, I think when you put it on Becky, you'll put it on Roxanne. So I think Roxanne will be um, the IC Women's Champion. Someone said Chelsea Green. Hmm. Maybe. I know Chelsea was a big favorite last year. Big favorite. Huh. Mm. I can see that. I like I said, I just gave two of my people who I could think right off the top. Um, it'll be amazing if they let an NXT star that just came up come out of nowhere and just win that briefcase. Remember, we have not had one failed briefcase winner. My only thing about when it comes to Naomi, and I said it last year, I'm so afraid she wins that briefcase because my God, the world will be set on fire if Naomi becomes the first failed Money in the Bank briefcase winner. It will, my whole world will be shattered. I will feel bad for her if they did that to her. I would. It will make me say, what was the whole reason for you bringing her back from TNA when she had one of the most greatest runs in TNA? All that work, all this character, and you had her win this briefcase, and she failed to win the championship. No matter whichever one she goes for, even if she goes for the one that Tiffany has or the one that Io Sky has right now. Um, I would hate to see that for her, and I'm still afraid of that. Now, if she wins it, my dear God, I will be praying every second that she stays on top and she wins the briefcase. I mean, cashes in and successfully. That will be one person I could think of. Now, when it comes to men, I know, and I think Money Bank is in L.A. I know a lot of people are saying L.A. Knight, but it seems like L.A. Knight, he still wants to go for that USA title. It seems like he's comfortable with the mid card, and there's a couple guys that um do elevate the mid card. So maybe he just wants to elevate the mid card, which that's okay, but I have a couple people that could win the Money in the Bank briefcase. Carmelo Hayes, Ray Phoenix. You have maybe Sami Zayn. That will be intriguing because you could tell the story where Sammy's the briefcase holder and Jay's the world heavyweight champion. Here we go again. We can go down that road and be like, what are we gonna do here? Or let me think of some more people. If Trick Williams comes up to the main roster, um, Alistair just got there. I can see you have him in the match, but I wouldn't put him as the winner. Rusev, he might be a dark horse. Um, only thing I Penta. Thank you. Someone said Penta. Thank you. I forgot Penta. Wow, if Penta wins the Money Bank briefcase, ooh, that would be great for him. I can see them giving it to Penta. Hey, what about Braun Breaker? I mean, he's a Paul Heyman guy. You can maybe get him there. That's the way you can shoot him to the moon. Remember, you can hold his briefcase all the way up to WrestleMania. Matter of fact, Braun Breaker did an interview saying that he would like to do a match with Roman Reigns before he retires at WrestleMania. And I had that conversation with someone where I was like, if that match happens and if it's at WrestleMania, that could be the last match where you get a singles match between um Braun Breaker and Roman Reigns. That could be his last match where Roman puts over Breaker and walks out of the company and just leaves the company. But that's just my thoughts, Final Balls, baby. Do you got any last thoughts about SmackDown? I'm gonna go through Raw real quick on that before we let you out of here.
Yeah. Chelsea Green. I mean, what do we do with her now? Like, I think her gimmick with her service was actually had a lot of potential. I just think that it wasn't used properly. But the idea of it was actually great. It just was the execution of it wasn't too good. So where does Chelsea Green go from here? I know the last thing she was saying is that she want to recount because she's like a president type of character. And then where do they put Selena? She's now our new United States Championship. Who's going to be her next challenger now?
Mm-hmm.
These are all the questions that I have. Now, if they bring back Bliss, I can see Bliss and Selena Vega do something. That would
Mm-hmm.
be nice. Um,
Mm-hmm.
so these are all the questions that we have now. It's like, what do we do with with these mid card championships for the women's side? Chelsea Green is a great character, but I feel like they're not going to have her do anything else in the near future with her trying to win it back just yet. So where are they
Mm,
going to put her? Then where do you put people like Piper Nivens, who was part of the Her Service? Where do you put these women at now? That
mm.
that's the problem with her losing the title is that even though I'm happy that Selena won, but now we have three women that they got to now place somewhere else now. So
Yeah.
this is a whole nother avenue. So I'm excited to see who's gonna be Vega's new challenger. I like I said, I can see it being Bliss, because it's a mid card title. They're similar as far as how they wrestle, as far as their move set. They're both on the smaller side. So I can see that. But then at the same time, I really want Bliss to be in Money in the Bank. So I don't know who faces Vega, and I don't know what you do with Chelsea Green. Maybe you might have her do some more matches with Me Chin again. I mean, are we gonna go back to having those now? Maybe Me Chin can do something with Selena Vega as well.
And she did put out a tweet saying that whoever was the champion, she still wants to go for. So, um,
Mm.
I mean, Michin has went for the title for so long. I just wish we could get someone new. Like I say, the only call up we got so far was the tag team from NXT, and that was it on SmackDown, and that was it. So that's very interesting. We'll have to wait and see. I know the next couple weeks we may get a couple more. I know normally after Backlash they usually call up a few more people, and then they start doing the draft because I don't know when the actual draft is for this year because they haven't announced it. I don't even know if they're going to do a draft this year, which is interesting because usually they announce, hey, we're going to do the draft this day, or maybe they're just done with it. Final boss, but I mean, we'll have to see. I do agree with you on the Chelsea Green. I'm not gonna lie. You can maybe put Piper and Abba Fire and make them go for the tag team titles because there's not many tag teams out there. You give some more people for Liv and Raquel to face because we don't have that many tag teams out there. Um, with Chelsea, if they keep her on SmackDown, that could be another person that Tiffany can go against for the title. You can start doing that. She held the mid card title. Usually we say for the guys, once you held the mid card title, go for a main card title. Maybe you could do that with her, but we'll have to see, Final Boss. They said that, Final Boss. She might have walked away. Well, we
No,
going
I'm still here. But
okay.
again, I think for that, I don't really have any predictions about where they can go with these mid card titles. I think that's more of just the wait and see guessing game. I really think you're probably going to see Mi Chen probably face Zelina Vega. Um, and then I'm pretty sure you probably didn't get some more hardcore matches between Michin and Chelsea. Or maybe they could have someone like Piper go against Zelina Vega because she can argue that she was being held down by the Her Service. So there's different things you can do. I mean, maybe you have Chelsea Green do a turn because Her Service didn't really help her, during the match. I mean, she lost the match and they were sent from ringside. So she can do a turn on those two. I mean, unless they want to go down that route, which is what I would do.
Mm, yeah, I mean that would be interesting. Like I say, but they need tag teams. Because like I say, I know I'm gonna get into this Raw review where um some of the tag teams that they need them. They just broke up a tag team that just got together. So there's that. So we'll have to see what's going to be next for Chelsea Green. But I feel like her going for a main card title, it's time. She proved herself with the United States title. Hey, like someone said earlier now, chat in the comments, she could be a Money in the Bank winner. I know last year she was very heavy favorite because it was in Canada. Maybe this time now it's not in Canada. Maybe she could win it. Who knows? That would be very interesting to see. With that, um, we'll have to see final balls. But do you have any last thoughts before we let you go? And I'm gonna get into my Raw review.
No, I don't. I think we pretty much covered everything on SmackDown. I thought it was a decent episode. I think the highlights was just for me the return of Aleister Black, Selena Vega being our new United States champion, Street Profits being our new tag team champions. I think the Cena and Randy feud is building up to be very, very good and entertaining. I think they're trying to mix kayfabe with reality, so I definitely like that. I like the touch again with them bringing in Bianca, even though she just did an interview with Brian Saxton. It's showing that she is legitimately injured and that she will be back in some due time. I really do like that touch because we're not sitting wondering where she is. We actually know she is injured. She will be back once she is healed. I thought that was a great thing for them to kind of do. Um, uh, let's see. What else? I mean, yeah. I mean, I thought it was decent. I just really hope again with Aleister Black that they're not just gonna push his girl Zelina Vega and then bury him,
Mm,
because it was just weird how on the same episode now we've been asking for push Selena forever, and they finally pushed her, and on the same episode he debuts. Same episode. He debuts, and he's facing the Miz. No character change, same character, which I guess is nice because he was very over in NXT with that character. I
yeah,
just find that odd. So I'm hoping for the best, but it just kind of strikes me as a little bit weird. They're putting him already in the mid card feud, but then we finally get the push. We've been asking for years for Vega, and the one time they push her is when he returns.
yeah. We'll have to see. Aleister Black character was he's up there with that Karen Cross type of person, which everyone is now screaming give a push to. We'll have to see if he comes back and gets that because this was one of Triple H's favorites, so we'll see. Um, I feel like you could probably put him in the mid card first. We'll have to see, but I don't see him beating Jacob. I don't him and Jacob. No, maybe that's why they're starting him off with the Miz, and working his way up. Can you do well? The difference between so far with everyone and Cody is Cody came out and faced one of their top guys, Seth Rollins. And then he faced Seth Rollins, I think, again. Then Brock Lesnar. Then after that, it was it. I guess she's gone. But, I just think that those two things are maybe one of the things that I feel like was decent with that. So, well, that was just our SmackDown review here on Talk It Up. We're gonna get into this Raw review. I know I had touched on some things where we're gonna touch on. We had another John Cena and Randy's promo, and this was got us to what we was just talking about on SmackDown, where Randy came behind him, hit him with an RKO, and this is where we kind of got our ideas of what we're going to lead to when it came to um SmackDown. Yeah, Zelina versus Liv Morgan. Wow. I'm not gonna lie to you. Once Liv drops those titles, oh my God, she's getting pushed. I don't care what you guys say. She's getting pushed. We have to see where she goes when she gets pushed. Mm, I I wouldn't say the you I wouldn't say the mid card division it can be underrated a little, yes, but I feel like if you push it the correct way. If you, it's always preach this every time in the spaces. You guys hear me say it a lot. It's booking. You have to book something correctly. When we got all these cinematic things with the bloodline, I'll use that for example. Was most of the booking all the way to mostly quite to the end, we was expecting more. I think Raw, which we'll talk about now, this Raw made me feel the way it was booked from top to bottom. It made me say, "Oh, I'm ready for Raw this Monday coming up." I feel like that will be great. Liv Morgan. I can see Liv Morgan going for the IC title because Becky got it, but I don't think so. I think they're going to probably do something where this is how you get Raquel over. You have Raquel beat Becky, which will be wild because Becky does like putting over the NXT talent. Speaking of Becky, we had got the tag team match where her and Liv Akira had just won the titles at WrestleMania. And guys, please comment at the bottom of the comments. Did you guys feel they just won the titles and they dropped them on Raw? Soon as they dropped them, Becky did the turn. I feel like guys, I feel like this turn could have came at um WrestleMania. Maybe they just wanted to give Liv Akira her WrestleMania moment because this is someone she won who got mentored by. I can't wait for Liv Morgan's WrestleMania moment. Hers hasn't came yet. She also got it this year, but it came a little earlier because Raquel Rodriguez, I mean not Raquel, but Rhea Ripley had got injured. But we'll have to see. Yes, I do agree with that, Lena. That the IC champion with Becky Lynch will be a perfect move because you have to, you know, show this title of prestige. That's why I say when it happened, when this match happened, great match from Liv, great match from Raquel, great match from Liv Akira, great match for Becky Lynch. The turn was I seen it coming. It's just I didn't like the booking of it right then and there. Now, yes, Liv and Raquel are back tag team champions, but this is only showing that you're not knowing what you're doing with your tag team division. Ah, that would be interesting. Um, someone said, "Hey, Becky might was the one that attacked the Bailey before WrestleMania. She is now a heel. That could, hey, that could be interesting to see if that is the case. Because if that's the case, this will push Vakira even more to be more mad at maybe Becky, but also remember um Bailey was the one who was been teaming with her, but Bailey does have ties with Naomi, so we'll see. But Naomi is a heel, so I don't think you're gonna do two heels versus heels, but we'll have to see when it comes to this match because I think this tag team match was top to bottom was decent. You got the great moment where these two had came back and was um was back together again. So we'll have to see what they see. Mm. Yeah, I feel like I didn't mind the title change was okay, but it only lasted what 24 hours, and you did it because I think they fought on Sunday and we're back here on Raw. This might be the one match where if I wanted to give this match a grade, I would give it a B minus because I understand the turn, and the reason why I'm giving it a B minus is because Becky is now going for the IC title, which would make it more be, I guess, that prestige because we know she's going to automatically win it, and now we're going to have in our mind who will be the one to take it off of her, and I think people, if you're on X or on YouTube, if you want to comment, who you think will, if we have Becky Lynch take the title off of Liv Valkyria, who will beat her? The first person that comes to my mind is Raquel. I was gonna say Raquel Rodriguez. Roxanne. So I feel like she could be the one that you could take the title off of her. We was about to get ready to get a tag team match where New Day and Alpha Academy was about to get ready to have a match, and the return of Rusev. Yes, Rusev Day is back. How you guys feel about Rusev? I mean, man, he looks great. I heard he's only signed for 2 years. We will have to see. And it seems like he's a heel. I'm guessing he will be a heel. I don't know if we're going to team him back up with Lana, which will be a great thing. But last time I remember, Rusev Day was sort of like when they was doing the Rusev Day gimmick. It was sort of like a babyface gimmick. I don't remember it being a heel gimmick. If I don't remember that. I have to go back and look at some film and see, but we will have to see that. But he beat down Alpha Academy. New Day got a couple licks in. We will have to see. Um, with that, see, title sets up the perfect baby face. I see that where I don't think I like Becky as a heel, Greg. I feel like you can maybe do this if you want her to go after Liv, yes, you will have to maybe turn Liv babyface because normally you don't get heel versus heel. Yeah, I think Valkyria will continue on to her babyface journey, but once you turn her babyface, I don't know if you're gonna have Liv back on Raw. I think they're gonna once they drop the titles. I think Liv will be on SmackDown. I think this is where you maybe get her and even Dominic. They split because remember last year they supposed to split it. Where Dominic was supposed to went to SmackDown and Liv supposed to stay on Raw, but they didn't go through with it because the story kind of they wanted to finish up the last ending of their story and finish it out. So we'll have to see what they do with these two, or you could lose Liv and to SmackDown, and maybe you but you got to turn one of them. You got to turn Liv babyface if you're going to do that. If they're not going to turn Liv babyface, because the reason why I keep saying Dom is a babyface, the crowd cheered him. The crowd doesn't cheer a heel. If you look at WrestleMania, Dom was cheered. He ran back to the ring to get another huge pop and get a cheer from the crowd. And the crowds do. Last time I checked, crowds do not cheer heels. So we will have to see um what we get out of these two. We had got a promo from Io Sky and Stephanie Valkyria made her debut on Raw. And normally when you get a debut on Raw, and this is an NXT champion, we've seen it many times where the NXT champions have came up to Raw, they start working them in. Do we see Stephanie Valkyria already making a debut on the main roster? That means she's jumped in front of Jakara Jackson, Last Legend. Um, I think Stephanie's been on there for quite some time. It seems like they're pushing her really fast, really quick. Chat and and also YouTube. Do we feel like this push is getting too quick, too fast? Because it seems like the meme. It was all of a sudden I was like, wow, maybe they just did this to maybe debut her on the main roster to try to get a little more light on NXT, which I always love and I always liked it. These two being hand in hand with each other. Yeah. I mean, yeah, Becky Becky could be the one that betrayed it. Bailey to set up a IC match. Yeah, it could be Bailey and and Becky too. I can see those two. They've had some great feuds together. Where if Becky won the title, um Bailey goes after her, and maybe one one if they're doing this, maybe Roxanne, guys, and tell me what you think about this. Could Roxanne team up with Becky? Because Roxanne is a heel, and she and her and Bailey did have unfinished business, and they could team up together and did start working together. We could see that too. We will have to see because they can do so much once you put this title on Becky Lynch. You could do so much with it. Um, Back to the Io Sky and Stephanie Vaquer promo. It was okay. We have to understand that this is their secondary language when it comes to English. It's sort of like I'm Jamaican and also Haitian, so sometimes it comes out or my accent comes out or I'm Haitian and Jamaican. My wife tells me that plenty of times where she points it out. It's certain words I say. She be like, "You use your accent," but that's just me. So you can't help it when it comes out. My thing is this: the promo wasn't too bad, but we did get a decent match between Io Sky and Stephanie Vaquer, and that tells you there that these two will set the house down. This is goes back to when I was saying when we had um um Final Boss on here earlier, where you got to have some managers to do these promos for these young ladies. That's what I feel like you need to do. But man, what a match between these two. Um in the future, could we see these two go back at it? Maybe so. You had speaking of Roxanne, she came out when on this match and interfered, and you had Rhea Ripley. Oh my God, come back out and just had to be in this, and I'm like, come on, Rhea. But maybe we're setting up something for Stephanie, Io Sky, um, Raquel. I mean, not Raquel. Rhea Ripley, and also Roxanne. We'll have to see what we do. Oh yeah, and Gilead. I forgot she was on that too, cause yeah, they had Gillian on that too. Oscar having a faction. Uh, we'll have to see. Uh, yeah. The thing about that with those young ladies, you can do that. But like I say, with English being their secondary language, who's going to be the person to be on the mic? Because we can't overlook Greg, where we got to have someone do the talking. We have to have someone, and that's what Bailey was when it came to damage control. And we've seen the many reports come out with her where she said she had a few selection of people who she wanted to be in damage control, and that's what she wanted to do. We'll have to see when it comes to that. Um, like I say, great match, great segment. We'll see where we're gonna go here, because like I say, for them to include Stephanie and Gillian and Roxanne, and I'm like, I seen them calling up Roxanne, but do you guys think we see Gillian and Stephanie Vaquer getting called up already? Because usually they don't they don't usually call them up that early. Yeah, Dakota Kai, and I forgot about her. I don't even know. We haven't seen her in quite some time. I don't know if she's injured or from what I heard, I didn't hear nothing. I'm pretty sure she's healthy. Last time they had her trying to go for the women's IC title, so we'll have to see. I do agree with y'all guys that y'all all got great points. Let's get to our next match or our next segment. Let's talk it up. Let's talk about um, Jay Uso finally wins the big one after all the things that go on with what happened with him and Gunther. He comes down. The crowd's still doing the yeet. He got a get great response from the people. He came out, did a great promo, saying he finally won one. If you guys checked it out on YouTube, where they released the behind the scenes of his emotional journey, him getting a picture with Roman, everyone telling him in the back, go out there and do your thing. You got this. It seems like he has a lot of support from the back, getting that praise from the Undertaker, OG, which he called him OG in the video. If you guys go back and look at it, which he is an OG of the company, giving him that praise from the Undertaker is like it's up there. It's like up there. He said once he won it, he thought the journey was going to be over, but he said it's just the beginning. He was so overwhelmed. It was such a great thing. You guys go look at that. I'm so proud of Jay for just that moment of him doing that. Um, if you don't know, he's came a long way. We'll have to see where it goes from here. But Jay comes out, does his promo, and we get a return of Sami Zayn. And I was like, huh. And Sammy came out there, said, it was so hard, to see him go through, let CJ go through what he went through. He wished he could be there he was there for him because, he's his ooze. I always have your back, this and this and that. And there was a moment. I think Jay got on the top of the rope, and Sammy was looking. I was like, "Is Sammy about to turn on Jay?" And I was like, "Oh, okay." And I was like, "This is interesting," because Sammy did say that he did want to go for that world title when Gunther had it. And I was like, "This is interesting." But Big Jim's music hit, and he came out. They all did the handshake, did the hug. And it seems like, hey, we got most of the people who was in the bloodline of this year's past War Games back together. I'm not going to lie to y'all guys. I'm going to go ahead and say Sammy could be the one to turn on Jay down the line where we are going to get a Sammy versus Jay match, which would be crazy. But we got so many things with so many groups coming up. I don't know if they're going to break them up or not yet. We will have to wait and see. But it's going to be real interesting what we do with Sami Zayn and Jey Uso because that tease was quite kind of eye dropping, and it was kind of like, are y'all planting the seed there? Maybe I'm overthinking it. Maybe it was me. I don't know. Um, we're going to go into our next thing. Let's talk it up about Gunther coming out and choking Pat McAfee on live TV, where people said, "Hey, Pat McAfee didn't tap," which he didn't. But Gunther is suspended indefinitely, which from what I'm hearing, this could maybe get him switched over to SmackDown. On he goes to SmackDown, and we could do a match between him and Goldberg because that's supposed to be a match coming up soon. So maybe this will lead us to Goldberg and Gunther. I was amazed that no one did come out and help Michael Cole and Pat McAfee, and I was like, this is kind of weird to see from the crowd. The crowd booed them heavily. So we'll see where we go with that. But I mean, I did like the segment. I know Gunther's supposed to be suspended indefinitely. We'll have to see where we go with that. Um, let's go to our next match, guys. We got Dominic Mysterio versus Penta. And this match here, for me, I loved it. I wish this could. I know we got the interference and all that. I want some kind of way. I know we're going to probably get maybe a triple threat between Dominic, Finn, and Penta. Maybe we'll get this at Backlash, guys. I don't know how you guys think about that, but I would not take this title off of Dominic no time soon. One, he's now got over. as a face. Maybe this is another person you could put on SmackDown, Finn Balor, if you're going to split this group up. This maybe caused the last split up. I don't think if once Finn leaves, now, oh yeah, we had the return of JD. My bad. We had the return of JD. JD did return. That's how we got the interference. So now JD's back. Finn was looking at JD like, he wasn't too happy with what happened. And remember, we have been getting a tease from Dominic saying we need another member. Was he talking about JD all along? We'll have to see about that. I don't know. Yeah. Greg said, hey, that could definitely set up a match between Jay and Sammy, and maybe Gunther. Hey, we could see that. Maybe. Um, that those are three guys that have had matches. Sammy has never beaten Gunther. Jay has finally have. We'll have to see. That's a great match. Great. We'll see what they do. Like I say, maybe we'll do. I don't know if I don't think Jay may have a match at Backlash. Because like I say, they usually do 5 matches, maybe 6. I say you can do a little time off, as long as you do some great character work, character build with him. You can do that with him. So we'll have to see what they do with Jay. What's next for Jay Uso? Um, hey, maybe you can switch him and Drew over. Once Drew goes through this match with this USA title some kind of way, maybe Drew loses and you get him over to Raw, and maybe that's how you can set up a match between him and Jay. That I would love to see a match between Drew McIntyre and Jay Uso. Also, since we're gonna get into our last little piece of part of the segment, is that I feel like you got to look at this segment. Seth Rollins came out with Paul Heyman. The ultimate, I mean, crazy thing on night 2 for WrestleMania. I mean not night 2, night 1 of WrestleMania, where we finally got the answer of who Paul Heyman was on, who's gonna go with. And I called it for a long shot where we got Seth leaving with Paul Heyman. Paul handed him the chair, and we know the rest is history. Roman Reigns took the pin. I was shocked about it. I wasn't happy about it, but I understood the story. It's going to lead to something great. Now we get to Monday. Seth comes out, tells us the same thing I just told y'all was, hey, Roman thought he had me. I took his wise man. Seth Punk thought he had me, but I took his best friend. Poking the bear. And who music hits? CM Punk. CM Punk comes out. Hey, he got a little on Seth Rollins. He goes for Paul Heyman. Seth Rollins gets him. Curse stumps him. And who music hits? The OTC. And I was like, oh, I didn't think he was going to be here. I didn't think he was going to come. And I was like, okay, we're probably locked back in. And I was like, because I was hearing people saying, hey, Roman's going to take back off. He's going to go back part-time. And Roman Reigns said before WrestleMania that he was going to come back and he was going to be the cash cow again. He's going to be the top guy. And he was tired of people calling themselves the QB1. He's going to show everyone why he was the face of the franchise. And this is what we're going to get to. Because now Roman has no Paul, no Solo, no Jay, no Jimmy, none of the people in the bloodline. This is where you start building the Roman Reigns babyface story. And I think this was the way you build it, because he came out to save really CM Punk. A lot of people don't think that, but he really did, because everybody was like, no, well, he wanted to get his revenge on Seth Rollins. Maybe, but he still came out and saved him because he didn't attack Punk. He didn't attack Punk at the end. He got speared by the newest member of this group, which we don't know the name of it. A lot of people call him it Evolution 2, which has me interested in saying if this is going to be an Evolution 2, who's going to be the next member? Because if it's going to be Evolution, we got to complete this. I've seen a lot of people say Austin Theory. I seen someone else. Someone had a great take. I know Carmelo Hayes' name got brought up a couple times. I seen someone else brought up someone else. I can't remember who it was, but I was like, that could be a great person you could add to this group. But Braun Breaker came out and speared the hell out of fucking Roman Reigns, and I was like, wow. I was like, where'd that come from? And hey, he did show up in the Bloodline hoodie, so I guess now Seth Rollins people are going to debut in the hoodie, which is kind of a poke at Roman, another shot at Roman to show him, hey, you can do it, I can do it too. And it's kind of like, hey, you're getting the taste of your own medicine with this, but Braun Breaker looked great. He looks good with Seth Rollins and Paul Heyman. I did not see that coming, or that I wouldn't say a turn, just him joining and aligning himself with Paul Heyman and Seth Rollins. But Braun Breaker is officially a Paul Heyman guy, and I know someone said it earlier on our YouTube live where this was teased a way back a long time ago, where you had NXT and Braun Breaker, Paul Heyman on NXT, also like escorting him to the ring. So ever since then, that seed was planted. Great work of Braun Breaker spearing Roman through the barricade. Once Raw went off, you seen Roman look back at CM Punk. We could see a match where Roman Punk versus Seth Rollins and Braun Breaker. Oh my God! If they announced that, I wouldn't lie, guys. I would get a ticket ASAP because that's a good match. I feel like that's a decent match. I feel like the way you got these superstars, and this is a way you could build Braun Breaker. Matter of fact, I'm not gonna lie. If I was booking that match, I'll let Braun Breaker do the pin, not on Roman, but maybe on CM Punk or something. Or you could maybe make him lose, but I wouldn't let the heels lose. I'll let the heels stand tall to show this group dominant, are being dominant. Matter of fact, if you want to debut your next guy, Backlash will be the great point to do it. Who would that guy be? I have no clue. Like I say, the only name that I was going over with a couple people was Austin Theory. Those are the names that I could think of right um off the bat. Yeah, Seth Rollins is playing mind games with Roman Reigns. Yeah, that is true, Lena, because the thing I didn't think about it till later, because when I looked at it, guys, everyone in the chat and also on X, that I was like, Braun Breaker showed up in a black hoodie. And I was like, the only people that used to do that was the bloodline. That's how you start introducing someone. Matter of fact, the first person we introduced was Solo, which was a powerhouse at the time. And look who we're introducing now. Seth is introducing Braun Breaker, who's a powerhouse at the time. So the next person, I don't know who you debut, because they didn't debut him like this, because you already had Jay and Jimmy in that group. But it's interesting Seth Rollins is doing it the same way as that. We'll have to see what's next for this group, because when it comes to Raw, guys, I gave this a A plus, a 10 out of 10. Best Raw ever. This should have been like the first day of Netflix type of Raw. They should have did this at the first day of Netflix. I don't know what was going on the first day of Netflix, but from there to now, we finally got a decent Raw. Let's see this Monday, can we continue on getting that best of Raw ever? When I break this down and assess this, I say, hey, top to bottom, great writing, great character work, great promos from everyone. Like I say, the only thing that kind of caught me off guard was maybe Gunther coming out doing the choke and no one came out. Maybe you could have did a new baby face because now it's only Jay on there. Um we don't even have, I don't even know if we have a male. Well, maybe we got Randy. They're trying to present Randy as the male baby face for SmackDown, but it seems like Randy's going back and forth because Jay's going back. John Cena's going back and forth when it comes to going back from brand to brand. So we'll have to see if we can build some more baby faces for SmackDown. We're going to go to SmackDown because now he's suspended. And will he rank shock there? Um, we'll have to see what's going to go on with Jacob and Solo. We did get a tease there, and who's next for the group of Seth Rollins and Braun Breaker. Like I say, you guys, thank you guys for our first time coming here live on Talk It Up. You may get this with just me on here, Talk It Up with just Miami. We'll see. Shouts out to Final Boss Lady. Everyone, put your get well soon to her down in the chat on the live of YouTube and also on X. If you guys want to, please just send her get well soon on X. Y'all know where to find her. Final Boss Baby on X. Y'all can find me, Miami the Great 645 on X. Also, you can find me. Shouts out to everyone on Instagram, the official Miami the Great. Shouts out to all my Florida people for coming through, giving me much love, much praise on Instagram and also on X. Thank you guys for joining me on X. The first episode of Talk It Up. You can catch us next Saturday on X Space. We'll be just doing a space only where me and Final Boss comes back and talk about the new Raw for next week and also SmackDown, where we're going to be starting to hopefully building up to Backlash. Let's see if Raw can knock it out the park again. Let's see, can we do that once more again? That will be the standard for them because they have set themselves to a standard. I put Raw as the better product this week outside of SmackDown. SmackDown wasn't too bad. It was 3 hours, but it wasn't a bad 3 hours. I give SmackDown maybe a C. We'll see. Thank you guys. Shouts out to Greg, Lena, Stampede. I seen Ariel. I seen a lot of people. Kyle, the man Anthony, everyone who came by to support DWE Marshall with Mike's, Big Mike, John. Shouts out to everyone who came. Also seen Nessa in the chat. Shouts out to everyone. Thank you guys. Every 195 people first live. Y'all will see us again next month. Shouts out to the DWE. Like I say, follow us. Thank you guys for supporting us. We'll be doing again next month. Maybe after Backlash, because we'll see how this Backlash card go. So we'll see you again here on Talk It Up next month. I hope after Backlash, because I got a feeling Backlash is going to lead us to something, because we're going to have to talk about Backlash and Money in the Bank. Peace out. It's all love all the time, you guys. Always remember, let's have fun, and we'll see you guys later. Thank you guys for coming out. Peace.